All right, we're going to begin with our speakers. So just a few things before we get started. Let's respect each other's opinions. If anyone asks any questions, respect our speakers' opinions. Give everyone a chance to speak during question time. And if anyone shares anything personal, respect that confidentiality. Don't go, sharing everyone's information afterwards if it feels like something that shouldn't be shared. So if our first speaker wants to come up, let me pull up the presentation. The first thing we will be talking about is LRE. Hi. And I'm Alex Balboina. I'm a social worker with the Parent Resource Center. I have not introduced myself yet, but that is me. And this is Ms. McCall. She will be talking about the least restrictive environment.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamie McCall. Thank you all for being here. I'm here with the Special Education Department, and I'm with the Inclusion Program. So, we're going to talk about special education programs across the continuum, okay? So, can they see this? Is that large enough for them to see? Is that better? Can you all see this now? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the least restrictive environment. You'll also hear the LRE, okay, the least restrictive environment. So what the LRE is, it states that IDEA, the law, 2004, it states that students who have a disability, they are to be educated with their non-disabled peers as much as possible, okay? So if we need to intervene and give them more support, then we will pull them out of their LRE to what we call an MRE, which is the more restrictive environment, okay? You can go to the next one. All right, so we're still looking at the continuum of support. Over here, you will hear the word external support as well as in-class support. Just know this is when students are in the general education setting. That is the LRE, okay? So they're being educated with their non-disabled peers in the general education setting, okay? So we're going to move across the continuum to specialized support. Now they're being pulled out of the general education setting. So you may hear language such as resource, self-contained. They could be off campus. Your specialized support, that could be other programs as well, okay? All right. You can go to the next one. Our next program is PPCD.
Hi, my name is Miriam Hernandez. I work with the PPCD program. In our program, you will find that we have our students who are between the ages of 3 to 5, and they are in this classroom where we provide services for them. All of the students in our classroom have to be identified as having a disability. We do have different options for placement within PPCD, and all of this is based on the least restrictive environment. We have core materials that we purchase for all of our classrooms, so we are building upon this core material list. And so we try to have almost the same materials in the majority of our classrooms based on the classroom itself. Organization in the classroom, we are following the early childhood setup, so which includes 7 centers. This doesn't mean that every center is open at all the time, so it would depend on the teacher. Every center will be in the classroom, but they do not all have to be open at the same time. We do use classroom schedules, which is visual schedules that you can come up here and take a look at. This is one of them. This is just a sample, so every classroom will have something different. It's based on the teachers. So this is just a setup of the day in the PPCD classroom. And as the day goes by, either the teacher or one of the students will move with anything. This is just like a bookmark, but they can use like a little car, or they can use a picture of a mascot, the school mascot, or something just that shows where they are at throughout the school day. We also have what we call for our students the individual schedules in the classroom. So if the students need some assistance knowing what they're supposed to be doing throughout the day, we use individual schedules for the class. Every schedule will be different. It is based on the student's needs. So these are just 2 samples. Like this is a removable, so they're able to move it up and down depending on where they're at. And this is also the visual schedule. And this one, the student would take it to the area where they belong. So it's just a little bit of the schedules that we use inside of the classroom. Documentation and progress, we are using at this time Review 360, that is our monitoring program. The teachers put in information at least 3 times a week, and that's how we monitor the progress for every student in the classroom. We're gonna watch this video. It talks a little bit about the Frog Street, which is a pre-K curriculum that is in all of our PPCD classrooms. Then you will find it in our pre-K units because our kindergartners use TEKS, so they don't use Frog Street.
Frog Street Pre-K is a comprehensive bilingual preschool curriculum aligned to state and national standards and Head Start outcomes. Written by nationally acclaimed early childhood expert Dr. Pam Schiller. This integrated curriculum offers 9 thematic units for 180 days of high interest and engaging instruction. Instruction supports developmental learning domains, language, social-emotional, cognitive, physical development, and approaches towards learning. Frog Street Pre-K offers a unique daily routine that develops key social skills and emotional control based on conscious discipline strategies developed by Dr. Becky Bailey. Each morning begins with a greeting circle to unite the group and develop a sense of belonging. Children learn calming strategies to help them manage the stress that can interfere with their learning focus. Children connect with others to practice social engagement and then commit to practicing specific social skills that help make them responsible members of the classroom community. Frog Street Pre-K nurtures language and literacy skills through both whole group and small group instruction and child-centered learning centers that will ensure children maintain their love of language as they develop their ability to decipher it. A daily morning message supports phonological awareness, alphabet knowledge, and concepts of print. The extensive literature library, featuring dozens of books in a variety of genres, as well as hundreds of vocabulary and photo cards, create a language-rich environment. Literacy instruction is supported each day with an intentional lesson that follows brain-compatible research for optimal learning. Read-alouds engage children in concepts of print, build comprehension before, during, and after reading, and introduce and expand vocabulary. The National Council of Teachers of Math has identified 3 focal areas where math instruction is important for pre-kindergarten children: number and operations, geometry, and measurement. along with additional connection points to data analysis and algebra. Frog Street PreK's math instruction is based on NCTM's research that has a daily systematic and sequential continuum for building skills based on children's understanding of patterns, numbers, measurement, and shapes. Science exploration is integrated to complement each unit's theme. The goal of the science from Frog Street PreK is to teach children the basic skills of scientific inquiry, to count, compare, classify, observe, and measure. Practice activities extend learning goals to hands-on experiences in learning centers. Learning centers provide opportunities for children to make choices and practice cooperation and collaboration skills. Learning centers challenge children to observe closely and investigate, ask questions, work cooperatively with others, and solve problems. And there are plenty of opportunities for children to move, sing, laugh, and play throughout the day. Frog Street PreK includes hundreds of songs and a variety of moving and learning activities, including games and creative drama to support each theme and physical development skill. The program includes a comprehensive set of instructional materials to make lesson planning and implementation easy. Materials are housed in cardboard boxes that can be used to create an attractive community display. Frog Street PreK also includes interactive software to support children's learning. Teachers can access an online digital library for convenient and easy access to all teacher guides, literature, and planning resources. Family members can access the literature library full of read-aloud ebooks. The Frog Street PreK curriculum allows children to reach a deeper understanding of new skills and concepts by making connections across all learning domains. The curriculum supports school readiness goals and prepares children for future learning. This seamless, comprehensive, integrated curriculum meets the needs of all children as they pretend, create, build, and embrace the joy of learning each day.
Okay, so that was just a little bit about Frog Street. Like the video said, it's 12 boxes, so I only carried one. This is the theme box, so this is the teacher's guide. Everything that is in here is how the teacher prepares for the day. It talked about conscious discipline and stuff, so one of the things that they use is the commitment. So we use these 4 commitments, and the students choose one daily. So the teachers start off by teaching one at a time, and then once the students learn all 4 of them, then they get to pick one a day. And they also talked about the calming strategies, and it's the same concept. The teachers introduce one until the students learn it. And so it's a total of 8. So by the end of the school year, they can use one of these calming strategies once they're having a stressful day. Like we said, PPCD is a continuum service of 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. So we do have a 3-year-old classroom right now. Then we have the 4 and 5, and we also have a collaborative classrooms for each of the grade levels. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Lindsay. I'm from Inclusion Programs, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about collaborative teaching. We use that model in PPCD classrooms and K-12. So the models, I know it'll be hard for you all to see, but there are 6 models that the district uses. The first one is one teach, one observe. Okay, it may be a teacher that's she's teaching the classroom, the other adult in the classroom is just maybe taking notes or trying to chart how the lesson is going. One of the other models that we use that we'll have, one teach, one assist. The teacher may be up, walking around, the paraprofessional, or another SPED teacher may be in the classroom, and they're also monitoring what students are doing and providing assistance and support as needed. There's also station teaching in which the students rotate around. When you look at this diagram, there's one represented here. The green dot is the teacher. There's a table in the station section that there is not a teacher there because it's an independent station. So the students move from one teacher to another teacher in groups, work that's already accommodated and modified for them, and then they have one station in that room that would be considered independent. Okay? We also have alternative teaching in which the gen ed teacher may have the larger part of the group of the classroom in one part of the room, and then there may be another teacher, another support individual with another group of students. And they're teaching some of the prerequisite skills, or they're teaching some skills before we can get ready, or they're reteaching some things, and then they'll join back the class again. The other model we want to talk about is parallel teaching, where both teachers are teaching the same concept. Okay, to groups of students at the same time. The students are focused on one teacher in one area, the other teacher in the other area. The next one is going to be teaming, and when both teachers would present side by side to the entire classroom. So these are some of the models of support that's in the inclusive setting. These all happen within the classroom in the PPCD collaborative classrooms as well as the K-12 inclusion. Some of the materials that are available for K-12, we did bring some things, PPCD Collaborative, Miriam talked about Frog Street, so that's primarily what they'll use. For Inclusion K-12, we also have some things you guys can look at later if you like. We have Be a Better Reader, which is for our secondary, ELA. We have AMP, Math for our secondary. We also have Triumph. Math is for our elementary classrooms. We also use a core of materials such as the number lines that we supply for our inclusion classrooms. We also have some figurative language cards. We also have math manipulatives that we use consistently in our classrooms. These things are available for you guys to look at later if you like. The materials, the instructional interventions are different for elementary and secondary. We want to always make it age appropriate, so you should see different things in both classrooms. Yes?
Like my baby has like struggle with math. Can you go about like a Target store or Walmart to get like little can you go about getting it like at a store or anything? Like what store can you go about? 'Cause like right now he has struggled with math, and like I learned from those like the little balls and how to like the tracking stuff. And right now he's struggling with math. So I was thinking, how do I go about, or what store can I go to get the stuff to help him succeed? Because he's finna go into 9th grade, and I want to make sure now that I go about getting
him some support. Dollar Tree is a great place.
Okay.
Dollar Tree, you can use just about any of the things that are there that your child could possibly sort and count. They'll have the numbers and alphabet things that are already pre-cut, die cast already punched out for you. And you can, if it's numbers, you can get objects such as paper clips, such as pom-poms, whatever they have, things you're thinking about using them differently, and your child can put those in the appropriate number, and they can count those objects. But Dollar Tree, teachers do use a lot of things from Dollar Tree, because you can use them for a variety.
I just want to chime in. I'm a mom and a teacher as well. And so sometimes I'll take a trip to my bathroom or my pantry, and you can use an egg cart. An empty egg cart. You can use dry beans to sort, like Angela was saying. Cotton balls, Cheerios. You see, just small paper clips like she mentioned, but there's a variety of things where you don't have to go out and spend money if you already have it at home. Okay.
I wasn't going to use that. What I was going to suggest also is depending on their abilities, you might want to think about using reasoning when you are with them shopping, having them think through the problem itself, because the one thing about mathematics is becoming less of a computation and more of reasoning with words. So they're having to change the mathematical words into numbers. And so if they're lacking just in their reading skills to begin with, we have to help them identify mathematical words and make them into the mathematical symbols, so that when they're talking about all together, or they're talking about bringing it together, or they're giving or they're getting, what operation are they actually looking at? He gave something 3 times. So you help them identify. So 3 times means that they're multiplying. So you have to put that symbol of that X that they identify with multiplication above that word, so that you can help them understand that it's really a reading test that's being sent to them in a mathematical term, and if they struggle with reading to begin with, either because of their dyslexia or because of their learning ability, they have to find those, not necessarily identifiers, but the reasoning behind it. So when you're shopping with them and you're looking at, look, this is 99 cents a pound. So I only have $3 to spend on these apples. How much would 1 apple weigh? And then if 1 apple weighs a half a pound and I only have $3, how many apples could I buy if I only have $3 and each one costs 50 cents? So it's that reasoning, but real life experiences. So helping them sort and do things like that, it's great for them to understand shapes and stuff, but understanding the reasoning behind why we use those mathematical terms.
Thank you for your comment. And also, you did hit on a good part about functional skills, functional everyday life skills, as we talked about earlier, functional skills. Okay?
And always preface it with why do you think that?
Behavior programs, the behavior, Jamie's going to talk about behavior.
Okay, so I'm back. Now we're going to talk about another program we have is the behavior program. So just know the behavior program, this is it's a short-term intense intervention, okay? It can be, students can receive this service on their home campus. This is for students who have behavioral challenges. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. In the behavior program, they use a variety of interventions where they have social skills, they work on classroom organization, they have an economy or a token system economy where they can, I don't want to say, reinforcers, and they're rewarded for their behavior because we want to change that behavior, right? So they're rewarded for it. So if you need to know more about the behavior program, your contact will be Dr. Wilcock. All right, and specialized programs. We're moving on along the continuum.
Good afternoon. Did everyone enjoy your lunch? You did? Good. I am Mildred Johnson, and I am a part of the specialized programs, and we have ADL, FLS, and TC. Now, FLS stands for Functional Living Skills, and if you have a student that is in the FLS class, he is between the ages of 6 and 21, and he has a cognitive delay. Also, that student may be in a classroom where you may see multiple types of students in there. Some may have some physical disabilities, may have some behavior problems, and special needs. Also, they have been assessed as have reading and generally math problems. Also, for your TC, which is your autism and total communication, you have students who are on the total range of the autism spectrum, and they go from the lower to the higher range. And also, those students would need a very visual supported classroom with really teacher-directed instruction. And also in your ADL classroom, that is your self-contained classroom. And you will see significant children with significant delays and disabilities. And you will see some students that have medical problems, and you will see teacher and a teacher assistant and possibly a nurse in the classroom because to service their medical disabilities and service their medical needs. And also, those students they may come for a half a day and they may be serviced for a full day. So it depends on their delays. Also, what are the specialized classrooms, which I just went over? The program standards are the same for ADL, FLS, and TC, and the expectations. And also, with these expectations and these recommendations, we have definition and purpose in each classroom. So you're going to see these things. Also, the federal and state laws recommend and demand that we give all the students the same services in the classroom. And it also has to be evidence and research-based. Also, we have something called rigor. So we have intense instruction in the classroom for FLS, for TC, and ADL. So all classrooms will have an outstanding routine interaction with the teacher, TA, with the students. Also, great activities, creativity in the classroom, both visual and academic. Ongoing assessments, daily, weekly, and we expect that the TA and teacher will be assessing the student at least 3 times a week. Also, with the research evidence base, you're going to see instructional strategies. You're going to see discrete trial training, positive behavior supports, pivotal response, and structural teaching. Then on the visual side, you're going to see individual student stations when you walk in the classroom, and they're going to be identified and labeled. Direct instruction areas, break, leisure area, and transition areas. So when you walk into a classroom, you will see in all the programs, you can pass these around and look at these. You're going to see different areas in the classroom labeled with these colorful cards. So when you walk in, you'll know where direct instruction is, where leisure is, where the computer stations are, where the leisure areas are in the classroom. Also, in the classroom, you will see an area that will say break or leisure. So it may be creatively decorated where students can go and kind of download a little bit and relax and have some maybe technology in that area. They may have comfort material like they may have nice fluffy pillows and sensory materials that they can let off a lot of steam with and just kind of lay back and enjoy themselves a little bit. And for behavior, support behavior, all of the units will have these support cards. And it says, please be quiet, look at me, and it's pictorially shown. And also we have the little small ones in which can go on be on a necklace for the student. And so when you are telling the student to sit down, be quiet, stand up, line up, they can also look for that card on their chain or their necklace, on the bracelet. You can make a bracelet, and they can look for the same card, and they can identify with that instruction and do that instruction with ease. Individualized classrooms and schedules. We have some students will have their own pictorial schedule. Some will have words as they progress in their academics. Classroom schedules, you walk in the room, I know this is hard to see, and staff schedules. You're gonna see individual schedules, that's the student schedule. You're gonna see the classroom schedule. You'll know what's going on in the class from the beginning of class, from morning circle, breakfast, personal care, all through the day. You're going to have the staff schedule. You're going to have a schedule that the teacher has of the things that she does all day, instructionally, and the TA. And they should be posted so you'll know what's going on in the classroom. So you can walk in and see what's going on at any time of the day, and you don't have to interrupt the teacher because you can look and see on the schedule what's supposed to be progressing at that particular time. Also, you have picture exchange and voice output devices, and I brought a couple of those. This one is called a Go Talk 4 because all the students in all the programs need a communication system. So, I'm going to turn this on, and it's real neat. Sometimes teachers may have just 2 pictures, they may have all 4. If you press it.
I am at school. I am at home. Good morning, everyone. I am ready to eat, please.
Please.
Classwork time.
And see, they'll just, the teacher say, where are we, what are we doing? And they will just press the picture.
I need to potty, please.
Okay, pass that around. And that is really neat. That's a communication device that you'll see in all the programs. Also, this is another one. And
I need to potty, please. Time for music. Time for gym.
so these are different devices that you will see in the classrooms that across the board, and they have the same. The teachers have the same ones. Some will have a few more that they use in the classrooms. So the students will have a communication system. We really support that because if a student is nonverbal, he has to be able to communicate in some form. Okay. Okay. Classroom management, update reinforcement checklists, use visual support, use, oh, okay. You're having fun, aren't you? Okay, we can turn it off now. Want me to turn it off for you? In the back. Good. Turn the little silver button. Good, thank you. Okay, use visual support, behavior supports, and you're looking at the cards now. Direct instruction of appropriate behavior. We want to be able, we want to be able to show them the inappropriate behavior and the appropriate behavior. Data notebooks, when you walk in, you will see the students' data notebooks. Those go home each day, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and you can communicate with the parent, with the teacher, write your comments in that, and your questions, and we hope that everything is in that data notebook is positive. Review 360 is a a computer program that we use to collect data, and you may also see that, and we collect data 3 times a week. Student report cards. With the student report cards, you're supposed to, at the end of the 6 weeks, also get the student summary report. And that way you can see how the students is progressing with their goals and objectives. Updated IEP goals and objectives. Through that student progress report, you can see how the student goals and objectives have been updated all through the 6 weeks. Same standards, different looks. When you go into a classroom, you may go to Dan D. Rogers, and then you may go to Bushman Elementary, and you say, well, they had this at this school, but you don't have this at this particular school. But they are all on the same continuum, different styles, because teachers have different styles, but you'll see the same standards and the same looks in a different way, because we want the teachers to be creative. We don't want them to just be stuck in a hole and they cannot do anything else. Also, we have these notes. Just a moment, I forgot to show you these. These are some more notebooks that they have, how they do schedules in the classroom. This is from a secondary teacher, and this is also a schedule of a half-day student and an all-day student. so you can browse through that. So some of the schedules, as you see up here, will be different. So those are you see the schedule notebook that you're looking at now. Schedules meet the needs of students, and you are looking at a schedule notebook, and that's a secondary. They can be used in both in the middle school and in the high school. And you can have the strip schedule. This one is kind of in a circle. This is another notebook. This is an object schedule, which you might use with a lower functioning student. So you're going to see different modes of schedules in different classes with different teachers. But they're all going to meet the needs of the students. And we want to use the schedules as at the beginning of from PPCD all the way through, but we also want them to gradually not need that schedule, but become independent in knowing what they're supposed to do each day. And as they progress through the grade levels, we want them to become more independent and be able to progress through their education independently also.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Mildred.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute, just a moment. I want you on the microphone.
My son, he is in the FLS program, but when you were, because I never heard of the ADL program, and when you were describing it, I think that one would actually fit him better because he has a muscle disease, which is, it doesn't get better. But I feel like it's affecting him in the classroom with the teacher that he has because she doesn't really know how to help him. And I feel like the class that would have like a nurse in there would probably be something better for him. But we hadn't had a talk about that, but because she has mentioned to me that she can't really deal with him, like it's becoming frustrating for her. He is in the second, but he's like on a 4-year-old level, you know. So this is my first time being at one of these functions, and it's informative, and that's why I'm asking questions, because I never heard of that program before, but I feel like it'll be very helpful for him.
We can help you with that. What we have to do is we have 8 steps that we go through in documenting a student if we're going to change a program. So you and the teacher also you'll know how she's following those 8 steps that we do. And we'll see if a child shall remain in the program that he's in, or if we would change the program to a more restrictive environment, a type program. So we go by assessment, student observation, testing. We have to go through the entire gamut of the expectations of each program to see where he belongs.
So I would start with her.
You start with your teacher, and it would be fine.
It's like I've been asking for things done, and when we have like the art, it's taken months to get things done, especially like even with the school bus. He just recently got on a school bus. We had the art in January, and they were supposed to transition him. He has fallen and hurt himself because he is to be in a wheelchair, but they just got him on a wheelchair bus. And I feel like it's lack of her not doing what she's supposed to do. I've contacted Dallas County, the supervisor for the buses, and we just got something done. And I've been doing that for like months, since last year.
What we'll do, we will talk to you after this conference, and we will help you with your needs, okay? And your students' needs. And I'm glad we had the information for you, and we're glad you're here. These are the must-haves in ADL, FLS, and autism. Physical structure and organization. Physical structure, schedules, teacher, classroom, and student schedule, individual student communication. We have to have a communication system for all students. All the students must have some type of communication device if they need it, if they're nonverbal. Communication with parents and guardians. That is pivotal. That is so primary. We want to communicate with the parents, and we want them to feel comfortable communicating with us, and we want to comfortably communicate with them and give them the information that they need. Progress monitoring, that is very, very, very must have. We must have the data to show the progress of the student. Individual activities based on IEP, goals, and objectives. Everything we want to do for the student must be individualized and to identify the progress ongoing for the students. Thank you very much.
The last thing we're going to talk about is transition. Transition has to do with planning for the students. It has to be implemented by age 14. Transition happens in the ART meetings. In Texas, transition services have to be addressed for students who receive special education services no later than when the student reaches age 14. Who will be at those meetings? It'll be the student that is about to become an adult, family members, caregivers, community members, and what they talk about is what's going to happen after school, after graduation. So that's the transitioning. It's a plan with the team, who may be involved, those that I mentioned. What they might talk about is life skills, independent living, education, employment. It can be social skills, behavior. It also could be volunteering. So transition happens for a student. It's completed, it's done in the ART meeting, it's ongoing, and it has to be implemented by the age 14 at least. I think we have time for some questions. You want to say something?
Okay, so last but not least, I only say that because I'm talking. I am part of the Parent Center. I'm part of a team of social workers who serve as a connection between you, the parents, the schools, so the campuses, and the community. We work with special education students only, and we want to help you guys, whether it be getting resources in the community, setting up meetings at school, whatever it may be. Maybe the toilet's broken in your child's classroom and you want to get through to the campus. We want to help. You know, we'll go to the school with a plunger and help you out. We won't do that. I'm just kidding. But you never know. So what we do is we help support the families. We want you guys to have the best relationship possible within DISD, with your teachers, with the administration, with whoever it may be. We want you to have access to any resources there may be in the community. So maybe youth and family, maybe Metro Care, maybe you need help with probate court, whatever. We are there to help serve you and your family in the best way possible. So here's some of the things we do to help. We have information resources, like I said, about Metro Care, about youth and family, things like that. We offer parent workshops, so the conference is one thing we're doing, but we also offer things every month. So an example is we offer a Saturday workshop. It's called Coffee with Dr. Purge. She's a licensed therapist who gives talks about helping your child who has a disability. Or we have conferences during the week. They're not quite as big as this conference, but it would be something like our new navigator session. So if you're new to special education, it helps you learn all about the ARD meeting, the ARD process. If you've ever been to an ARD, you know how stressful that can be. Having been to an ARD before as a social worker, is stressful enough going in that position, so as a parent, I can't even imagine what that's like. So anyway, those conferences, those workshops can help you learn how to navigate that process. And we have stuff like that. We have a calendar, and if you want to give your email, we can add you to the email list. Okay, so are there any questions for me or the other presenters or in general? Yes. In contact? Yes, great question. So we have a phone number for our resource center. You call, we do an intake. And we actually have intake forms here today, so we can talk afterwards and I can do an intake right here and now. But we have a general phone number that you can call anytime and they will pick up and do an intake over the phone. And I can get you that phone number and write it down for you. And they also have them downstairs on a calendar of all our workshops. Yes?
If parents were wanting to find more information about like you said, these Saturdays, and they're not on your mailing list, where could they look for flyers or something online so that they would be able to, on their own, look for something that might be upcoming?
I do not know as of now if they are online, but I can tell you if you call our resource center, they will mail them out to your house. They will find a way to get them to you. I will tell you that. And we do home visits all the time, and we have very dedicated social workers. I like to think they'll probably drive them to your house while they're doing a home visit. So, anything else? No? Yes. Oh, okay.